All right, now that we have project number 1 done, let's shift over to project number 2. Now this one's a little bit more creative for you guys, and you guys will be able to kind of explore with Word and just kind of see how things are done. So the instructions as well as the project are all in the same thing. So what we'll do is we'll go into week 7 and we'll look at project number 2. As you can see, we're going to do a quilt project, and we will download the project, that template that's there. Now you can download one or two of the examples just to kind of see what we're looking for. I've showed you guys on the wall what some of the examples are, and we'll just kind of go through and just explain some of it. So go ahead and log into the district's website, go into the portal, and again, we see all the options here. We want Office 365. All right, so now we want to scroll down a little bit and we want to upload. We're going to upload the template or wherever it did. So when you guys, sometimes it'll be in Google Docs for you in the download section. And we'll go ahead and open that up. There's the conversion that it's doing to the OneDrive. And it's going to open up. Now remember, we have 2 different variations, and it just depends on what your Chromebook has. So this is the modified version. So we don't have all the glamour, but and some of you have the full version. So we're working off of the modified version. And you can see that these are pretty simple instructions of what it's looking for. So it wants you to put your name. It wants you to talk about yourself, as well as uploading at least 1 image. Now, notice it doesn't say it wants 1 image of yourself, but if you want to put a picture in there, that's great. Or if you're using some kind of other picture, that's fine too. On your right column over here, you want to do friends and family and do at least 1 picture and a few words that represent your family and or friends. All right, so the bottom is going to be the goals. Now, you guys are already working on goals for your conferences, so you can use the same goals as you like, or you can use these as goals like lifetime goals. Also, again, we're using another image. And then on the other side is the hobbies. So we're looking at, again, 1 image and a few words that represent your hobbies. Now, as we do this, we are going to be able to be a little bit more creative about what we do. And so let's go ahead and let's put our name up here. And so the first one we want to do is talk about ourselves. So we want to look at pictures. Now, if you have a picture, great, that's perfect. So here's the thing we need to do. We actually need to delete this. So this does not need to be in there, but we want to create an image. So the first thing we want to do is insert, and we want to look at a picture. Now, for you guys, you're going to upload this from your device. Okay, it's going to ask you to insert a picture. You're going to choose a file. Now, I have so many pictures to choose from, of which none are of me. So I'm just going to pick, this is one of the race car drivers that I photographed all year. You can notice he's got a broken hand at the time too, so he was sitting there driving. So as you guys can see, there's not too much room here to probably write about me. So what you can do is you see that these have different dots. Now, you want to take it from the corners because the corners are going to make it so that it's the same space the whole time. So we're going to make this a little bit smaller. Okay. And then we're going to click at the end of the picture. So what's going to happen is when you click at the end of the picture, now you're able to type in here. This is exactly how you're going to do all 4 quadrants. So I can say quarter midget driver. I can put teacher, assistant football coach, assistant baseball coach, coach. I always put baseball first. It's my love, it's my passion, so that's how I'm going to do it. What else can I put? I can put that I have 2 sons. And that we'll put their names in there. Mason's the one that went to Lindbergh, and Mason's the one that goes to Hazen right now. He's a sophomore there. Okay, so that's got a little bit of information, so that's cool. All right, so now that I'm done with this, let's go ahead and move over to family and friends. Now, again, we're going to want to take out this text because we don't need to see that text to tell us what to do. Pretty much the headline kind of does that. So once again, we're going to go through and add a picture. So insert picture and from your device. Now, obviously, if you don't have a picture, you can go and use that other, the Bing, like we had used in the last project. So I can put down my family, and again, I'm picking random pictures from the racing because that's what I'm working on right now. And so this is a problem. So this picture is vertical. And it's probably gonna be better if I had a horizontal because then I'll have more room. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and delete that. So click on it and then hit delete. And then as I was talking about, if you don't have a picture, just go into Bing and use family. And as much as I love The Simpsons, you see how that's a vertical picture, so that's not necessarily gonna work. But hey, there's a cute one here. Sunset looks like a picture I would take myself. Reduce it down a little bit. And this will give me a little room to type. So again, what you do is you get the picture and then hit the arrow key and then hit enter. Now, obviously, self, so I could probably actually use Bryson and Mason over here on family and friends. I don't know, it's kind of sticky. So let's do this. I'll do two sons. You can see how the font and the text are a little bit smaller than the other side. We'll work on that here in a minute. Mason. Um, uh, so how many siblings? So I'm the only sibling in my family, so I was the only kid. I got two parents. They live in Renton, so live in Renton, obviously. Self. You know what? As you're coming back, you can go back and forth here. So I graduated from Hazen. A majority of my friends are people that I work with. So a lot of the teachers and I, we spend time because we're always talking about different ways we can do things. We like to go hiking. We do different kinds of activities. So, friends could be, I have friends at the racing, teaching. I still have friends from the fire department that I hang out with. So you kind of get that kind of a gist of kind of what it's looking for. So let's talk about goals. So again, we're going to take out this section here. And we need one picture. So I would say let's do the Bing again. And I'm going to put teacher. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put photography. And so many pictures out here. So many good pictures. All right, I'll just take this one. And I want to scale that down. Okay, make sure we're grabbing from the corners. Okay, so if you grab this way, see how it does that? Same thing here, this will make it shorter. Okay, so pictures need to be proportionate, so if you're going smaller one way, you want to make sure you're also going smaller the other way. So that's what this does. This makes it really big or it makes it go really small. All right, so again, we're going to click, hit enter, and a goal of mine. I'm actually working on that. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. So I guess one of my goals would be to graduate from Eastern Washington University with a teaching cert. I would like, boy, it's kind of hard. This is why you need to think about some of these things. So that's kind of the idea there, is you want to put your goals down there. I want to become a 4.0 GPA student at Eastern, graduating with honors. I want to be able to, um, be a lifelong learner. And what I mean by that is we're always learning. So every day that I'm teaching you guys, I'm learning what to do, what I do wrong, or maybe I didn't do it perfectly, but I could change and do it differently. So like now I'm actually making videos for you guys, slowing down the process so that you're all able to understand. All right, so let's move over to hobbies. And actually, did you notice how this had a double highlighted line? Okay, so you're gonna wanna click the right side, or excuse me, the left side, and it says lifelong is actually one word. So that's the nice thing about working in Word. Just like when you guys would want to send an email, and I always shoot an email in my Word first to make sure it's spelled correctly, grammar's correct, and then move it over. So that's the nice thing about Word. So hobbies, let's look at hobbies, and we're going to, again, let's get a picture. And, one of my hobbies, I love coaching. Like I said, baseball is my ultimate passion. And I'm very fortunate enough to be coaching here at the high school. I also love taking pictures. I have spent the last year photographing for the quarter midget group that's in this region and watching 5-year-olds all the way up to Mason. Mason's the oldest this year, and how kids race cars. So that's kind of the hobby for me. And most of my hobbies around are, I include my kids, and my kids include me, and that's just how we like to do things. So one of the things that we should do is that we are going to go ahead and insert another picture. And, oops, no. If I had the picture, I would do it. So here, we're going to do Bing again. And I'm going to do photography one more time, but I'm going to do a different picture. And I love taking different kinds of photos. Now, I have photographed the Mariners, the Huskies, the Seahawks. I've shot a lot of high school football, high school sports in general. So I'm going to kind of leave that dangling a little bit. I love taking scenery pictures. Sunsets are really awesome. So it's okay that these pictures are different sizes too. Maybe you want to put in multiple pictures. So let's do that. Let's do multiple pictures. So let's do that picture, and then let's do, I like to cook. And sometimes it's really hard. When I am running around all the time, I don't get to cook. And when we're at the racetrack, you can't necessarily always do this kind of cooking, but it is good. So let's make that a little. Maybe I'll make this a little. Maybe I'll make this about the same size. All right. So there's two different things that I love: photography and cooking. So like this, let's put in a little description. So photography. Cooking. I always say that my kids are always my biggest hobby. Um, it's really hard to say my kids. One just turned 20, and his hobbies are his brother's hobbies. So, but my kids, whatever they're doing, I'm a big advocate for them. Um, what else do I like to do? Baseball. I love coaching baseball. I coached. I started out with 3-year-olds, and with my boys, we've grown them up, and now they're 7 and 8-year-olds playing baseball. So it's kind of fun to see the progression. So a lot more, there's a whole many more, lots of hobbies that I like to do. So, all right. So next thing that we're going to fill in is it says space where you can write keywords and or quotes. And I had a quote, and unfortunately, with me being in another room, I cannot recall that quote, but I really liked it. And it looks like I just deleted something I shouldn't have. So let me bring that back. So remember, anytime you make a mistake, you can just go over here to home and you're going to do that little backspace there. All right, so instead of deleting that whole thing, we're going to do just like this. Now, you can come up with any kind of quote. sometimes I like looking up quotes. What's the quote of the day? So is there something else that I like? Oh, Joe Morgan, baseball player. So Joe Morgan is a baseball player who played for multiple different organizations. He actually just suddenly passed away. And I want to put a baseball quote in here. And it's so hard. It's so hard to find a good quote. Okay, so we'll just go and find, if you guys have a phrase or a saying, this is going to work for you guys too. And just let me find a really quick one. Okay, so of course I would find something political. All right, so here's one. So to err is human, to forgive is divine. So Alexander Pope. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll have to backspace this a couple of times here, but so to err is human, forgive is divine. I have that right. Okay. Now, remember when you guys are quoting somebody, you always want to give them proper ownership. That's their quote. That's not your quote. That's not my quote. So we always want to give them the proper quote. Okay, so let's see how this looks. I'm thinking some of this looks a little weird, but it says center. No. Okay. All right. So now, if you want to just end your project just like this, that's fine. Now I'm going to zoom out of this project just a little bit so you guys can kind of see where we're at. So I got my name on top. I'm talking about myself. I have a picture of one of my quarter midget friends. I have a picture of my family and friends, and I have a picture of one of my goals. Is photography. Maybe teaching would have been a better picture. So in our hobbies are photography and cooking, and then you can see all the kinds of other things. And then we have this down here. So you can leave it like that if you wanted to. Now, if you wanted to go for a little extra fun here, there are some ways for you guys to actually fill this in. And what you can do is you can actually fill this in by just highlighting it. And I'm going to play this by ear because, we can highlight the words that way. We can trying to highlight just one area here. All right, so I want to fill it in. So I want to do this. So here's the thing. So this is what is called a cell. And in a cell, so there's 4 cells. And this allows me to give color to different spots. So here's the cell, and it's shading. So I probably want to put this as a blue. Okay. And then I can do the same thing on this one if I wanted to. So cell shading. Now remember, you don't want it to be overpowering because that's like a really dark or bright color because it might take away from the picture as well as the words that you type. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And let's do red. So there's red, so that's not too bad. And then let's do my family and let's give them an orange. So even though the colors are a little weird, it's okay. So one of the other things that you should be able to do, and just see if we can do this, is let's shade the top part. And let's just shade the whole thing. Let's see if I can do that here. And now let's go to the bottom here. All right, so some funky colors, but that's fine. What are some other things you guys could probably do here is, you could probably uppercase this. Remember, we go to the three dots and we do change and we go uppercase, so all caps. But remember, what it wants to do is it wants to keep everything in one page. Okay, so everything's on one page here. All right, so that's what completes this assignment.